Hi, I'm John Greaves III, editor and publisher of the Home Gym Quarterly magazine, the only magazine in the world that's written by and for home gym owners. This channel is all about helping you achieve your fitness goals at home. So if you want workout tips, simple do-it-yourself projects that you can use to upgrade your home gym, and interviews with the industry professionals who serve the home gym community, go ahead and click the subscribe button so you don't miss a single one of our videos. In this video, Grip Champion and Home Gym Quarterly magazine contributor Ricardo Magni interviews Randall Strossen, the founder of IronMind Enterprises. IronMind was founded back in the 1980s as a way to get high-quality strength training equipment into the hands of home gym owners just like you. They paved the way for all of the popular brands that you see today. Randall's got some great stories about the history of home gym culture, and he gives some tips based upon his years in the business for how people who are just now starting to work out at home can be successful and achieve their goals despite not being in a public gym. Check it out now.
Hey, Randy.
Oh, hey, nice T-shirt.
Yes, I have more than.
I'm sorry.
I have more than one Iron shirt, so yeah.
Yeah. Hey, so you certified on that? Was it LA Fit Expo?
Last year, yes, sir.
Yeah. Proven an all-around excellent grip, which of course we know you have.
Well, I'm trying hard. So yeah, Randy, I'd love to hear again a background, and if you want to talk about the super squats as well, on just the birth of IronMind since 1988, you providing world-class level products, not just to World's Strongest Man, not just to top international competitors, but to regular people as well. So
I think people who train homes always kind of been like our core market, hardcore people. I mean, sort of a prototypical IronMind customer is a guy named Lee Wade. I don't know if Lee's still around. Was a guy who lived in a trailer in the middle of the woods in Arkansas someplace, Vietnam vet, working on a novel, lifting weights, found out about us. But anyway, we were always kind of a little different. And the way IronMind started was I started writing the monthly sports psychology column for Iron Man magazine when it was one of the three major newsstand bodybuilding magazines. And one thing led to another. Super Squats was written originally as an article submitted to Esquire magazine, rejected, instantaneously, turned it into a book, bestseller. Not bestseller doesn't mean I was out shopping for a private jet. It just meant that, I had some breathing room and established some legitimacy because of that. And Super Squats is actually a good example of what we're talking about because it's very basic. I mean, it's basic and it works like magic. And the key is, and this is important for guys training at home, it's not about fancy equipment. It's not even about fancy food supplements. It's about paying your dues by doing more than you can. You're going to have to walk through brick walls, to make the program. And very basic kind of thing anyone can do at home. And, I mentioned that one of the things that we talked about in Super Squats is the hip belt squat, which is a great thing for people at home because it's a very simple piece of equipment. If you don't have racks, spotters, you don't have half a ton of weights, try the hip belt squat. The weight's always under you, so it's very safe. It's very humbling. In the early days when we were selling it, we had a couple 800-pound power lifter squatters. Neither could do 200 on the belt. And we would tell people that. And we say to people, if people laugh what you're using, let them try it.
Wow.
You can hook it up, but check that out as a possibility if you're training at home, especially now if you don't have money or the ability to run out and buy a set of squat racks or a way to improvise them. Yesterday we talked about how you can improvise squat racks. I mentioned a guy doing squats in his kitchen using bar stools in San Francisco. Things outside, J.C. Heiss leaning tree branches against a wooden fence. You just be inventive. Joe Kenny once told me, I said to Joe Kenny, first guy to close the Captain's Crush number 4 gripper. I would say to Joe, I said, "You're very creative." And he goes, "No, I'm just poor." So, necessity is the mother of invention. I mentioned yesterday too. I think, to me, a great solution. Guy didn't have a flat bench, didn't have money, went to a hardware store and bought 2 bags of sand, put one on top of the other on the floor in the basement, and he had a bench. Anyway, so that's sort of, quickly, what we do. IronMind, Stronger Mind, Stronger Bodies comes from my psychology background. That's what that column was about. And it's actually through Warren Tedding that we decided to go into equipment. And the idea in equipment was sort of like IronMind itself. We're going to do things other people weren't doing. We've always never been interested in mass production, making, knockdown stuff you could ship all over. It's always sort of artisanal. I used to tell Warren, who's, a lot of Warren Tedding stuff looked more like, say, a blacksmith than something that was really polished. But I'd say, Warren, you should sign these pieces because they're individually made. This is made by a machine, and each one might be a little different. I'll give you a quick idea. This is something you'll appreciate, Ricardo. Of how inventive Warren was. You know what our loading pins look like. IronMind put this simple product, on the map. No one sold loading pins when we started selling them.
Right.
Now everybody does. Warren didn't have pad eyes. That's the little thing we put at the top that you can hook the carabiners. So he makes them using a machine nut. He finds a machine nut.
Wow.
Well, that on top, you could clip with that, and that's a no excuses mentality.
Right.
So anyway, does that kind of give you an idea, feeling of what IronMind is and what we do?
Absolutely, and I've used IronMind products for quite some time. In fact, I bought my first, I bought a number 2 and number 3 gripper shortly after moving out here to California in 1996, and I still have those very 2 grippers. I still have them. But now, let's shift gears, Randy. With this whole virus thing, the world is disrupted right now, for lack of a better term, and health is a big concern for people, and a lot of people who did have a routine about going to the gym every day are now stuck because the gym is closed. And so why don't you talk about, or let's talk about together, what is your vision of a home gym? I chained in my garage that I'm standing in right now for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
I would say start with squat racks. Squats are the most essential thing to do, cornerstone. And I've got much more of a weightlifting as an Olympic style weightlifting background than powerlifting. And for decades, my workout was snatch, clean, jerk, squats, snatch, clean, squats, snatch, clean, jerk, squats. And so all you need is, bar plates, platform ideally, and squat racks. And if you don't want to do snatches and clean and jerks, it's even simpler. You don't need bumper plates. You don't need a platform. Some world champion, world-class weightlifters in earlier days, before everything was so comfortable, training conditions where they had to be careful. They had to line up the bar, with the joist from floor overhead so that the plates would fit. Tommy Kona was like that in Sacramento. Yeah. I saw Tommy brought me in, showed me the basement. He had a dirt floor. He would sprinkle water on the dirt floor before he worked out so there wouldn't be as much dust.
Yeah. I read that. Yeah.
And my friend Tom Hertz, he went to the Carl Harvey's gym in Finland. It was called the Dental Lions, is what they call this thing. These are these Finnish guys competing with, the Soviet Union, right? And doing well, taking medals. And same sort of thing, the Dental Lions. It was displaced on the bottom, then get everything lined up so that they could, hold things overhead without the hitting. So never feel that your equipment's a handicap. Okay, we sell Captain's Crush grippers, gold standard grippers, $25 or something like that now. But I always tell people, look, if you have some piece of junk gripper, China, wherever, some really awful thing, don't worry, you can still get stronger. Never blame your equipment, okay? It's always how hard you can train. People say to me, for example, should I buy a hub or should I buy a block? And I say, they're fairly similar. Pick the one that you like better because you will train hard on it. It's the intensity of your effort that's going to make the difference, not the thing. So if you don't have an Eleiko bar, you don't have a Captain's Crush gripper, don't worry about it. Make the best, out of what you have. So squat racks, bar, plates. Very beginning, bar and plates. Okay, less than that. Get a bar. You can always hang some things on. I don't know how long you've been getting our catalog for a while. I think we had a picture once. I can't think of the guy's name. Guy was in Greece, I think. Great photo. He was doing deadlifts. He's wearing work boots. Got a bar, some plates, and all this rocks and stuff hanging off it to get additional weight. So you can always be creative. But the bar is the number one thing, I guess, and then plates, squat racks. Then I think flat bench. I'm not a big bench presser, but I like to have a flat bench you can sit down on and rest in between. I prefer work sitting down rather than standing up. You can do ab work. How about you? I can look at your gym and I can see you got all sorts of fancy stuff.
Yeah, but the stuff I use the most, right now are my Apollons. Well, right now I'm not doing deadlifts off the floor because of my my heart attack and open heart surgery. To pick it up off the floor is not good, but I've been doing shrugs in the rack with my axle. I've been doing some rolling thunder work because it's a higher pickup and I don't have to bend down quite as far. But my main focus lately has been on my grippers for sure. Definitely been working on the grippers right now because it doesn't cause any pain and I'm able to train it with an appropriate amount of intensity to make gains.
Now, does everybody know about your heart attack?
Probably not. So,
okay, let's talk about this. Okay, so this is Ricardo Magni. Okay, Ricardo used to have your, I will politely say, softer. Okay, all of a sudden, this stud muffin version of Ricardo shows up in St. Petersburg last year. Big arms. He's ready to just, crush everybody in the curl, right? And then we were shocked that you had a heart attack. And by the way, one other thing, very few people know this. You're looking at a guy who's beaten Adam Nelson in the shot put.
That's true. Good memory. That is correct. Yeah, anyone can get the world's best on their worst day, and Adam did foul all of his throws that day, but hey, it came out in my favor on the score sheet that day. Everyone knows who the much better thrower is, but yeah.
Tell us about the heart attack. I'm saying, because you looked off. I mean, you shocked people because you looked like you were super fit and looking good.
The reality was I was super fit, but that doesn't mean you still can't have a heart attack. And unfortunately, I have a couple genetic things going on. So both my dad and both grandfathers died of heart attacks at younger ages. And it turns out that the coronary arteries, of which I had 5 bypassed 13 weeks ago, mine take more twists and turns than the average person's when they did the angiogram. So every time it takes a twist and a turn, that's one more place it can get blocked. A lot of people's are more straight, and the cardiologists, plural, told me that yours are not good, bad genes. Couple that with the fact that, yes, my diet was not ideal for about 20 years. I was too heavy, and I also naturally have higher cholesterol than the average person. So factor in some of those things, some bad, and stress. We can't get away from stress. It always plays a factor. So factor all those things in, and yeah, at age 45 and a half, I had a heart attack on New Year's Day this year. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and some really good lessons here. One of which is that one of the first things it sounded like you started to do was go out and take walks. Okay, we're talking about what you can do during this COVID-19 thing. People can go outside, they can walk, or they can jog, right?
Absolutely.
And you're doing that, and we're talking about equipment, right? You don't need fancy equipment to do this.
Nope. No, you don't. In fact, today I walked 5 miles for the first time, and I did it in 77 minutes. So almost 15 minutes a mile. It's pretty decent pace. I was very happy with that. So yeah, I mean, and I did that before I did some squats.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I was actually walking 2 days after the second day after the surgery. The first day after the surgery, I was in intensive care. The second day I was walking.
Yeah. So everybody can go out and walk. There's a great example. Okay. You don't have any equipment. You could walk. You could do freehand squats. You could do push-ups. You're too strong to do push-ups. Put your feet up on a chair.
Right.
Pull-ups. Find a tree branch. Talked yesterday about I knew a guy who didn't have dipping bars. He figured out he could do dips between his washer and his dryer. Be creative.
And I think that's honestly the American way, right? Ingenuity, creativity, the ability to make something from nothing. I mean, we were just a few crummy colonies to England, 250 years ago, and now look at us. I think we're doing okay. So I agree with you, and I think a home gym is the cornerstone of that because you can train whenever you want. You can train multiple times a day. There's no traffic. There's no entry fee, and you can build it up as you go along. And that's what I've done over my whole life. Build it up as I go along.
The first place I ever lifted weights was a basement in New Jersey. There was some guys, as my uncle and some of his friends. Mm-hmm. And what they did was, it's what you're talking about. Like, guys would contribute, okay, I'll buy a pair of 25. So, a couple of 50s, right? And that's how they got the weights for this thing. Right. It's a great tradition. Yeah, now, of course, everything's popular and, it's mass market. It's different. The garage gym is something that's really enduring. It's, it's an iconic thing, in the weight world. The people who always have and always will lift weights, we all kind of recognize each other. And the time that you save, not commuting to a gym, not talking with a bunch of people, and going through all that, it's time you can do other things with. Lifting weights is actually, it's very simple. I mean, I'm amazed that people can spend so much time every day, talking about their workouts and this and that. Okay, do your workout and get on to other stuff. I mean, it's great they enjoy it, but make it efficient. If you got a home gym, that's as efficient as it is. Right.
And and it's funny you bring up that story from New Jersey because I know a bunch of the arm lifters who are new in Arm Lifting USA. I mean, we're growing. I'm constantly emailing people and on Instagram and other modes of talking to them on the phone. And we're trying to get these contests going in all these other states. And it's amazing that this phenomenon you just mentioned is happening. I know someone there in South Carolina, they just got an inch dumbbell. And then another guy's bringing something else. and then this guy's bringing the rolling thunder and the axle, and it all comes together. And we're trying to develop little hubs like that all throughout the United States. I mean, look at Adam Glass and Tanner Merkel. They collaborate and they bring their stuff together. It's happening. Jason Dingy and Mike Saffel, they were in Russia last year. They're collaborating in Ohio. I mean, these are the kind of things you're going to see more and more of it over the years, for sure.
I want to make a quick comment here. Okay, this guy that you're looking at, okay, not me, okay, Ricardo. Ricardo is really like, you got to pick an announcer for an arm lifting contest. I was amazed. Okay, usually I see Ricardo competing and I'm taking pictures of him or something like that. But it was the contest in Sacramento. Help me out the name of it. Ben's the guy's name who owns the gym. Great guy.
Yes.
Maybe to your Ricardo was so good on the microphone. I told Mike Corliss, I couldn't believe it. And he goes, well, this guy's like teacher of the year. And, he's got all these credentials, but you're excellent.
Thank you.
As an announcer. So arm lifting guys, if you get a chance, promoters, you got a chance to pull Ricardo and put him behind the microphone. If you get him off the platform or get him to do both, it'll help everyone.
Well, you know what? It's funny you mentioned that because unfortunately with the disruption with the virus of the Arnold Classic, I was going to announce and run the contest this year. And I was just on the phone with Ode yesterday, and it looks like the same thing is going to happen for the Mr. Olympia this year in September in Las Vegas. So we are planning on, if we're virus free at that point and we're back to normal, hosting arm lifting at the Mr. Olympia. And I'm going to be running the thing and announcing at that one for sure.
Excellent.
So almost like you had the crystal ball out and you knew what was coming. So no, that's seriously, we talked about that yesterday afternoon after you and I had spoken. So
good deal. Excellent.
Yeah. So we're excited about that one because last year we had some really good performances at the Olympia. And it was a smaller show, but we did get Adam Glass and Tom McClure, Steven Anderson. I competed, Steve Millard. I mean, it was a top 5 were very, very good. Sardana from Russia / California competed. Right. Very good, very, very good field. So this year we're hoping that if we're back to normal, whatever that is, we're going to get an equally good field. I mean, Eric Racine from Canada has already contacted me. Yeah. A lot of people like Las Vegas, so Adam and Tanner are going to go. So I'm confident that if the world lines up and it's safe and it's healthy and we can do it, that will turn into what the Arnold would have been, unfortunately, this year.
Excellent. Well, knock on wood, I think that's a time frame when we can be guardedly optimistic about being, quote, back to normal. So
yeah, I mean it's several months away still, so hopefully September is looking good.
Yeah.
So,
I understand. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, I understand you've got your sights set on getting certified in the Captain's Crush #3 this year, too. So that, other than requiring a live referee for the official attempt, you can train on that any place. And so you're training in your garage probably for that right now.
That's right. Wednesdays and Saturdays are gripper days, and I will be attacking it tomorrow morning bright and early after my walk. So
okay, sounds good. I'll be thinking about you tomorrow morning. Good.
Thank you. Yeah. So no, I'm getting close. So we'll see. When I tried to certify the last time in 2018 and I failed, I was closing it maybe every other workout with 3 to 5 singles, and it wasn't consistent enough. I'm not going to
you teach. We say read those instructions, read the rules. You didn't read them, right? I'm just giving you a hard time. We say, can't be a thing where you contact us where you're hoping, have a good day. It's got to be like.
Well, that's what's going to happen this time. I mean, the days when I was on and I could close it, it was undeniable. It was, and I even sent you video of it. Yeah. Ding, ding, ding. But my training schedule is a little different now, and this is my #1 goal for sure.
Oh, good.
For sure.
Good.
Great. All right, Randy. Well, thank you for your time today. I appreciate it very much, and thanks for helping collaborate here.
Okay, good deal. Take care.
All right, bye.